we're hearing a lot of this in the market is people who bought in pre-sale, right? If they were pre-approved, they're in a good position, right? If they're pre-approved with a preferred lender for that developer. But if they weren't and they're getting financing now, a lot of times their appraisal value is coming in under the value of what they bought it for. Are you seeing that? And when you're seeing that, is what are the options that the client has other than just putting more money down?
So unfortunately, I have seen it. To your point, you mentioned about the preferred lenders. Oftentimes, the developers have preferred lender packages with some of the big banks, and the valuation is locked in. So, regardless of at the time of closing, on the market value.
So even if they didn't get pre-approved, like say TD was, because it's usually like TD, RBC,
it's usually
BMO,
big,
right?
Usually, TD, BMO, RBC have kind of packages, but you have to apply for these, years in advance.
That's the thing. Right? So if you didn't apply 3 years ago when you bought it, they come to you now, even if TD was a preferred lender, you can't.
Matter. Okay.
So you would have had to do it at the beginning.
So that's why it's kind of the onus is on the client to apply, get your approval locked in, get the value locked in. Because if you don't want it at closing, it doesn't cost you anything. You can just go somewhere else, right? So you have essentially everything to gain by doing so. But a lot of people haven't done that. So we are seeing, unfortunately, some values coming in. So option A is if you have the means to come up with the extra cash, then, obviously come up with the extra cash and close on the property. If you don't, maybe if you have something else, you can refinance something else, pull some equity out. We are seeing that. I had one not too long ago. They were buying a pre-sale. Value, unfortunately, was less.
How much less?
I think they paid like $850 and it came in like at $650.
Oh,
yeah. So it's kind of a big one. And, they were short. But luckily they had another property. I was able to refinance that property through like a home equity line of credit product and then top up the difference on the new deal. Obviously, not a good situation right now. Toronto's a little bit worse than Vancouver for sure. But again, this is a risk tolerance again. Are things going to get worse? Are they not? Spring market listings are coming up. I'm sure you'll be the first to say you're getting a lot of more listings right now.
A lot of listings now.
How is this going to play out? Nobody knows right now.
We had a client recently who had bought a pre-sale. They're closing on it now. The appraisal came in much lower than what they bought it for. We tried to see if we could find comps to dispute the appraisal, and there hasn't been any sales that were comparable, right? So it's finding that gap is there any opportunity for them to maybe go less than 20% and, add on a co-signer or anything? Are there any other creative solutions other than just coming up with that cash?
Well, the other option is potentially, co-signer, whether they're going added on title or having them off title, because if you have somebody temporarily as a co-signer, maybe down the road, once the values increase, you can refinance it and take the co-signer off. So so that is another option. On your point about the values, if you have one person that undersells, that's